What's poppin', people? It's Dante. This morning I'm thinking about why you should only photograph what brings you joy in life generally, and what this means to me. Ultimately, I've been finding so much joy in mundane walks in nature and photographing botanical things, photographing the plants, the trees, and all of the things that are around me in this park. And I find that by photographing these very simple moments of flowers or plants and the way in which they grow, die, and wither away, and then regrow again, is just bringing me an infinite abundance of joy. And I just wanted to share that because ultimately with photography, maybe we take it a little bit too seriously, but as you embrace the spirit of play and simply photograph what brings you most joy in life, I find that this is where meaning is found. You know, for me, meaning is found in the process of making photographs that bring me joy. For ultimately, there's something to be said about cultivating a sense of flourishing in your life. And so despite the external circumstance of this rainy and gloomy day, I possess the superpower, that being simply wielding a camera, having this ability to create. And so through creation, I find joy. Through looking at the details and finding meaning in them, I find joy. And ultimately, is that such a bad thing after all? You know, I think ultimately with photography and following your joy, you will understand yourself more deeply. And I think over time of photographing this way and photographing what brings you most joy in life in general, you will understand how you view the world and your perspective of things. And so I think that one should simply let go, and to simply let the chips fall as they may, and to simply follow your inner curiosities when photographing, and simply photograph more liberally and photograph with no limits, essentially. Because when you photograph with no limits, you'll start to photograph those little things that bring you happiness. And when you find yourself photographing the things that bring you most joy in life, you will flourish. And so through flourishing, there is this interesting, you know, thing that occurs where it can be a rainy, gloomy day. You may feel like you have nothing to say or nothing to photograph. But through cultivating joy, I find it to be an internal thing. You know, joy isn't something that's necessarily derived through external pleasure seeking. I don't think joy is something that you can get from the world itself, but it's something that you can cultivate from within. And what a better way to do that through the act of creation. You know, through creation, I find joy. Through making something from nothing, I find to be most happy. And so photographing those things that bring me joy, I find I flourish. And so once again, I encourage you to simply go out there and to photograph what truly makes you happy, to photograph what makes you feel joyful inside. And I think through that process, you will have a deeper understanding of your soul, of your spirit, how you perceive the world, and how you view things, and how you view yourself. And then ultimately through that practice, the results of the photographs will reflect that soul, will reflect that inner spirit within you as you breathe life into the creations you create. You know, there's something so special about photography and its ability for you to give life more deeper meaning, and that's something I want to share more about photography. You know, the fact that it gives life this abundance, and where, you know, there's just so much to do, to see, to explore, and to photograph. And you know, when you follow your joy and you photograph what brings you joy, life just becomes so rich with meaning. And yeah, so I encourage you, if you're still using Instagram, to delete your Instagram. I think the problem with having external feedback on your photographs is that you start to photograph for an audience, or photograph what other people deem to be good. You know, disconnect from any notions of success in photography, being the gallery, the book, the zine, etc. You know, these things are very basic at best. Wow, look at the dewdrops in the morning. The trees are starting to bloom. The cherry blossoms will soon be flourishing. Let's go. Let me get a nice photo. Oh, one thing I've been doing is when I use macro mode, I go to 71 millimeters with the crop mode. I don't know why, I just started to do this, and it's just kind of like, it's just interesting to play and break the rules and like just tinker. And so yeah, I think that, yeah, the message is very simple and clear today. Photograph what makes you joyful. Natural things certainly make me joyful, and so I will photograph the botanicals.